the scientist who discovered 2 radioactive elements. The first woman to win a Nobel Prize, and the first person to win 2 Nobel Prizes. The first female teacher at Sorbonne University. Who is this person who did so much? The answer, Marie Curie. Marie Curie was a scientist who dedicated her lifetime to exploring the wonders of radioactivity and science, and because of her, we now know so much about radioactivity and what it can do. Marie Curie, a lifetime of discovery. On November 9, 1867, in Warsaw, Poland, Marie Curie was born as Maria Solomea Skłodowska. She was born into a family of 7 people with 5 siblings. At a young age, her mother and oldest sister passed away. After finishing her primary education, she wished to continue learning and sought an official degree. However, her sister Branya also wished the same. Their family lacked the financial resources for both sisters to go, so they struck a deal. Mary would work to support Branya's education as long as Branya promised to do the same after she finished her education. So, for around 5 years, Mary worked on odd jobs to make money to support her sister's education. Finally, in 1891, she was able to enroll into Sorbonne University, where she received a degree in physics and mathematics. In 1893, she began to work in Lippmann's research laboratory, where she met Marie Curie, who she would marry a year later. Then, in 1896, Henry Becquerel's discovery of uranium inspired Mary to do research of her own. Her husband was fascinated with the work she was doing and decided to help her. Then, in 1897, their daughter Irene Curie was born, who would also grow up to become a Nobel Prize winning scientist. But in 1898, the Curies made an incredible discovery. The Curies discovered 2 new radioactive elements, namely polonium, named after Marie Curie's homeland, Poland, and radium. Polonium is an element in group 16 and period 6 on the periodic tables. It was used as a trigger for the first atomic bomb, which would take place many years in the future. This element is used in eliminating static electricity in machinery. It is also used in removing dust from photographic film. It is highly radioactive, and exposure to it can kill a person. Then, that same year, the Curies discovered radium. Radium is a highly radioactive element, which can also be extremely dangerous. It is made from the decay of a uranium atom. In fact, it is so radioactive and dangerous that Pierre and Marie Curie's notebooks are still radioactive from their work with it to this day. Radium is also used to create radon gas, which is used to treat several diseases, including cancer. Then, from the time of 1898 to 1902, they wrote 32 papers about the 2 elements they discovered. Finally, in June of 1903, the 2 were awarded with the Nobel Prize Award with Henry Becquerel for discovering radioactivity. In 1904, the Curie's daughter Eve was born. She would grow up to write a biography about her mother, which would be called Madame Curie. However, as all good things must come to an end, tragedy soon hit the Curies. On April 19, 1906, Pierre Curie was killed in a horse-drawn carriage accident. Extremely distraught, Marie Curie still took up his teaching post at Sorbonne University, becoming the first woman to teach there. Then, in 1911, Mary received her second Nobel Prize in chemistry. Then in 1914, World War I began. And of course, Mary did not sit on the sidelines. She helped equip ambulances with X-ray equipment and created mobile radiological vehicles to help the soldiers. The Red Cross made her head of radiological services. She even wrote a book called Radiology in War. Then, in 1922, she was appointed a Fellow of the French Academy of Medicine. That same year, she also became a member of the International Commission for the Intellectual Cooperation of the League of Nations. Sadly, Marie Curie passed away on July 4th, 1934, of leukemia caused by radiation poisoning. She was known for carrying vials of radium and polonium in her lab coat, which eventually took its toll on her health. However, Marie Curie's legacy did not die with her. She was buried in the Panthéon in Paris, one of the 5 women to have done so. Her daughter, Eve, wrote a biography about her called Madame Curie. There even was an element named after her called curium. And since then, several scientific and research institutions were named after her. Then, in 2017, her legacy continued when Marie Curie, The Courage of Knowledge, featuring the Polish actor Karol Górskaw, hit the screens. So why does it matter? Well, her research was groundbreaking for our understanding of radioactivity. She discovered 2 new radioactive elements, which both helped mankind. She broke barriers and accomplished things nobody thought she could do. She is a role model to future scientists everywhere. She proves that you can do anything you want as long as you put your mind to it.